Let's go to Victoria. An inadequate policing of the state's fertility sector is putting IVF users at increasing risk of having children with their own siblings, according to a report prepared by former Health Minister Greg Hunt and public health expert Dr. Rachel Swift. There is apparently not a stringent registry system in the state for sperm and egg donors in order to track prolific donors. Prue, this is very concerning. It's a very expensive system. How can it lack these measures?
Well, it's astounding, Rita, when you think that, in fact, every state has different laws and criteria for meeting IVF. There should be a national register. We saw recently, I think it was a Danish bloke who had fathered hundreds of children, and we don't know. We have no register. We have no way of knowing who will be parenting, who will be fathering children. There's no mandatory genetic testing now prior to IVF. So thankfully, I think the authorities are getting onto this, and they're going to try and implement some national laws. But starting with a national register would be a smart idea. But then you have, of course, a black market for people, because it's such an emotional, vulnerable time for people, and they want a child. And so I feel very sad for them. But having this added, concern that you could be maybe using a donor sperm that could compromise your child in the future is quite terrifying.
Yes, you would think the chances of siblings getting together unknowingly would be 1 in a million, but apparently not with the amount of people having using IVF and using donor sperm, donor eggs sometimes. It's a possibility. Now, let's go to Queensland. Former federal LNP Senator Amanda Stoker is making a run for Queensland State Parliament in the next election, just in October. But Liberal leader David Crisafulli reckons he's not going to reshuffle the front bench if his party wins the election, which would relegate a very capable and accomplished Amanda Stoker to the backbench. Prue, this seems unwise, to say the least. She's almost too good for state parliament. You would think any leader with any sense would get her on the front bench ASAP.
Unless it's a leader who's concerned that she's so good that he could be threatened in the future. I mean, that would be, to me, the only reason that he would consider backbenching her. She's such a talent. She's so experienced, having worked, as assistant. What was she? Assistant Attorney General in the Morrison government. She's a lawyer. She's so well liked. She has a high profile and so much credibility. I'm not one for this gender biasing business, but to have someone of her calibre, and he hasn't got a lot of women in his proposed ministry. So he and a few other women who could be very well regarded in Queensland, like Amanda Cooper, and there's another lady, Rebecca Young, I think her name is. Yes, she's very experienced women. That why wouldn't you be wanting to have those and to create the best representation you could have in the state?